All right. Welcome to the third meeting of alcohol, tobacco, and controlled dangerous substances. Representative West is at the table, so we'll hear Representative West bill first. You're recognized to present House Bill 2272.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There's a PCS.
With the PCS, without objection, we'll adopt the PCS as a working draft. You're recognized to present the PCS.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members, this legislation caps all commercial medical marijuana licenses in the state of Oklahoma to include grower, dispensary, and processing licenses. There is a lot of stuff floating around the internet. Most of it's coming from an activist in Tulsa, which I won't name. It's no secret that he doesn't like me, and that's fine. But I want to correct some of the things that he's put out. This is not a $25,000 charge to existing licenses. Nothing changes with existing businesses with their license fees. It doesn't change. This is moving forward. It would cap on September 1st. We got a large, in my part of the state, being a border district, we have huge issues with the black market industry coming across to importing and exporting. And so this was ran because my constituents asked me to run legislation, and after I filed it, started getting calls from throughout the state with some of the same issues. So now you have for questions.
Members, are there any questions on the bill? Representative Fettgetter, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative, you know that I have concerns with the bill.
For sure. And
how it's going to affect the industry. So I do have a couple of requests, if you don't mind, that we maybe could discuss as potential amendments. Pardon me?
Sorry.
Oh,
continue.
That we could potentially use as amendments as this works its way through the process. If with a little bit of leniency, Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to go through these three things real quick with you.
Absolutely, go for it.
Thank you. So what I would like to do is on the licenses, I would like to delegate the definitions and exceptions to what determines a license be an active or inactive license. I would like to delegate that authority and ability to OMMA to make those decisions on what determines an active or inactive license. Secondly, I would like to talk to you about putting a 2-year sunset on the bill so that the legislature can then go back and review. We're forced to make that look back in 2 years. As we know, OMMA has been through 3 administrative changes over the past 2.5, 3 years, however long it's been, and that has caused quite a disruption. And I don't know that a cap on the licenses is actually going to be the answer. I think the enforcement side of the industry is more important right now. So I would like to be sure that if this were to pass, and I do believe that it will, because I hear the same concerns with my constituents that you have, I would like to look at that 2-year look back. Also, because of the sunset being a 2-year sunset, I would like to recommend that maybe we discuss a minimum voucher of going to $5,000 for 2 years, and that would be good for 2 years, but could be extended up to 6 years on the voucher. Would you be agreeable to having those discussions if I agree to help get your bill through the committee today?
I'll definitely have those discussions. I think part of the issue is with OMMA, they have not done their job. Outside of that, this will also help the situation I'm dealing with the black market. And so as a member of the House of Representatives, you can amend any bill. I'm willing to work with you. I think it's also important to note that this was passed, 788 was passed as a statutory state question, so it's our job to regulate it. This is part of the process. It's not fun. I've been on the bipartisan bicameral committee since 2018, since July, since it passed. And I've heard from the same people that you have, and so this is part of the process with incorporating. And I remember a conversation from California with a doctor that presented in the committee, and I said, "How long did it take you to get your medical marijuana program up to date and where it needs to be?" And he said, "We haven't. It's been 25 years later, we haven't." So this is why I'm doing this. But absolutely, I'm willing to work with you, and I appreciate any input.
Representatives, there is an amendment on the bill that we skipped. So Representative Cornwell, you're recognized to explain the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Basically, I've spoken with the author on this amendment, and basically it's a friendly amendment. Basically, all it does is it takes out the language of the vouchers, and I don't want to try to guess what the author's intent here is, but if we really do need to slow this process up just a little bit so we can catch up as far as enforcement and personnel, I believe taking out the voucher portion of it would absolutely give us that opportunity to do so.
Are there any questions on the amendment? Representative Eccles, you're recognized for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative, I'm gonna help vote your amendment out of committee, and I'm gonna help vote this bill out of committee because I have another chance to look at bills when they hit the floor leader's office. But would you believe I do have some concerns about completely taking out the voucher and what that would do to people that have already paid their license fees and not been up and running yet? And would you believe that I may want to work with you further before this bill hits the floor on this amendment?
I appreciate that, and I would be willing to work with anybody moving forward here. I do believe that, they still have some time to go ahead and get, if they're in the licensing process, they do have some time before this bill would actually go into effect. So, but yeah, I believe we should all work together and try to make this a better bill so we can continue to encourage entrepreneurship in the state of Oklahoma. We just want to make sure that we have the enforcement in place that we can keep the bad actors out of it, basically.
You're recognized for follow-up.
Yeah, one more follow-up. And Representative, we have talked about this, and man, I know you're wanting to help the business community. That's always what you're about. You've been awesome about it. And I have another bill later on about enforcement. This is just, I hate saying stuff for the record, but it kind of is for the record, but I'll say, would you believe? I also have some constitutional concerns about taking away a license, which the late Chief Justice Opala would call a vested right without due process of law, that we might run afoul of the contract clause of the federal and Oklahoma Constitution if we were to not come up with some way where people could keep the licenses that they have. But I'm sure you and I are going to work all that out. Would you believe?
I would believe that, and thank you for the comment.
Seeing no other questions on the amendment, we'll adopt the amendment with unanimous consent.
Object.
We have an objection, so staff, would you open the queue for a vote on the amendment? If you wish. Oh, Representative Eccles votes nay. Oh, aye. Representative Fettgetter votes nay. If you want to change your vote, please do so quickly. Declare the vote.
6 aye, 3 nay.
With 6 aye, 3 nay, we'll adopt the amendment. And we are back on the bill. As amended, are there questions on the bill? Representative Hilbert, do you still have a question?
Yes.
Representative Hilbert, you're recognized for a question on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My question was actually for Representative Fettgetter. Were you proposing an amendment, or were you just asking questions?
I was asking that we not amend the bill as is today, and work on the bill before it comes to the floor for a floor amendment.
Representative Eccles, you're recognized for a question.
Representative West, would you believe I share many of the concerns Representative Fettgetter had, but I'm still going to vote this bill out, understanding that we're going to keep working on it, and I understand that your intent is to make this work as best you can.
For sure. I think that that's a lot of us make a deal with other members to continue working on this legislation. And you're like any other representative, you can amend any bill that comes through. So I'll work with you to get the best bill we can forward.
Representative Fettgetter, you're recognized for a question.
Representative West, will you believe that I'm also going to vote this bill out of committee, that my no vote on the amendment had nothing to do with not helping move the bill forward and work on it?
Thank you.
Seeing no further questions, do I have a motion? And a second. We have a motion and a second. Will there be any discussion or debate? Seeing no discussion or debate, staff, please open the vote. Representative Fettgetter votes aye. Representative Eccles votes aye. If you wish to change your vote, please do so now. Declare the vote.
7 aye, 2 nay.
Representative West with 7 aye, 2 nay. We declare your vote to have passed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members.
McDougal's not coming today. We'll lay over House Bill 2213. Representative Fettgetter, you're recognized to present House Bill 1909.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill is not about soldiers and sailors. House Bill 1909 deals with federal tax Rule 280E as it pertains to medical marijuana businesses. Currently, if you're a dispensary owner, according to the federal government, you are not allowed to write off any business expenses, and that is really tough on our business owners. So I have worked with House staff to verify that it would be okay that we drop the state portion of 280E, and there have been other states that have done it. If you ask me, I'm going to make something up because I don't recall off the top of my head, but I think it's Colorado is one. But I move to adopt and yield to questions.
Are there any questions on the bills? On this bill? Bills. Representative Ilbert, you're recognized for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Do you have any idea what the fiscal impact would be of doing this, if any?
I have requested fiscal impact and have not received it at this point. I think it's going to be very challenging to determine.
Seeing no further questions, do I have a motion? And a second. We have a motion and a second. Will there be any discussion or debate? Seeing no discussion or debate, staff, please open the queue for a vote. Representative Fettgetter votes aye. Representative Eccles votes aye. If you wish to change your vote, please do so now. Please declare the vote.
9 ayes, 0 nay.
With 9 ayes, 0 nay, Representative Fettgetter, we declare your bill as passed out of committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, committee.
All right. So everyone has time to look through. The next bill we'll hear is 2122. If you would like to pull that up, a little out of order. Representative McIntyre, you are recognized to present House Bill 2122.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for pushing me up in the line. I appreciate it.
Your committee sub.
Oh, excuse me, there is an amendment.
And there is amendment. First, will you explain the committee substitute?
We just needed to change. We had the bill referencing the wrong license, and we needed to change that.
Without objection, we'll adopt the committee substitute. That'll be the order. Little hammer. Would you please explain your amendment?
Yeah, and Mr. Chairman, thank you again for letting me bump forward in the line a little bit because I have a place I need to be. Members, House Bill 2122 effectively halts for-profit privatized managed care in the state of Oklahoma. I'm just kidding. 21. So, yeah, do pass, yeah. House Bill 2122 is known as the Cocktails to Go bill. It allows curbside pickup or delivery. You're okay.
Members, are there any questions on the bill? Seeing. All right, seeing no questions, there will obviously be no debate. Seeing no debate, staff, will you open the queue for a vote? We had a motion and a second. Representative Fettgetter votes aye. Representative Eccles votes aye. He doesn't have a computer. Everyone has voted. If you wish to change your vote, please do so now. Please declare the vote.
9 ayes, 0 nay.
With 9 ayes, 0 nay, Representative McIntyre, we declare your bill to have passed committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members.
All right, Representative Fettgetter, you're recognized to present House Bill 1142.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members, House Bill 1142 allows remediation for industrial hemp. USDA did put this allowance in their farm bill this year, so move to adopt. Yield to questions.
Members, are there any questions on the bill? Seeing no questions, we have a motion. Do we have a second? Anybody else? We have a second. There'd be no discussion or debate. Staff, please open the vote. Representative Eccles votes aye. Representative Fettgetter votes aye. Representative Rowe is in. If you wish to change your vote, please do so now. Please declare the vote.
9 ayes, 0 nay.
Representative Fettgetter, with 9 ayes, 0 nay, your bill has passed committee. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, committees.
Representative Fettgetter, you're recognized to present House Bill 1908.
Hopefully I will get a motion on this one, but members, House Bill 1908 deals with moving a very small portion of the 7% excise tax to OTC. The problem this is solving is that in meetings with the Oklahoma Tax Commission, I had received some information about some specific individual businesses who were bragging about not paying what equates to millions of dollars in sales tax and reporting it. And so I talked to Oklahoma Tax Commission, asked them why they weren't auditing medical marijuana businesses, and they frankly told me they don't get paid a fee for discovery. So this bill would take 1.5% of the 7% and move it to Oklahoma Tax Commission to pay for discovery.
Members, are there any questions on the bill? I figured that one of our AV Vice Chair might have a question on this bill. Representative Hilbert, you're recognized for a question.
Representative, I do think if there's better enforcement, even though we'd be paying 1.5%, it would actually be a positive revenue bill. So, but my question is, how does 1.5% compare to other apportionments that OTC gets for similar jobs? Do you know?
Thank you for the question. They did not give me that type of information, but the 1.5% was their request to be able to do the job that needed to be done.
Seeing no further questions, we do have a motion and a second. Will there be any discussion or debate? Seeing no discussion or debate, staff, please open the bill for a vote. Representative Roberts votes aye. Eccles votes aye. Fettgetter votes aye. If you would like to change your vote, please do so now. Staff, please declare the vote.
10 ayes, 0 nay.
With 10 ayes, 0 nay, Representative Fettgetter, your bill has passed out of the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, committee. It's been exhausting.
He is here. Representative May, you are recognized to present House Bill 2244.
Are we on? This is House Bill 2244. Fire.
Please present your bill.
I thought that was a good
I
one.
thought that was a great job he did.
This is a firefighter request bill right now. According to the law as it's written, we're not supposed to discriminate against anybody. When it starts talking about firefighters and safety-sensitive jobs, instead of listing those jobs, they specifically say any firefighter duties. They don't do that to cops. They don't do that to anybody else. Second.
Are there any questions on the bill? Seeing no questions, we have a motion and a second. Will there be discussion or debate? Seeing no discussion or debate, staff, will you please open the queue for a vote. Fetgetter votes aye. Representative Eccles votes aye. Representative Roberts votes aye. Everybody present has voted. If you wish to change your vote, please do so now. Please declare the vote.
10 ayes, 0 nay.
Representative May, congratulations. Your bill is passed out of committee.
Thank you, Chairman and Committee, for that speedy dispensation of my bill.
Next up, House Bill 2665, Representative Floor Leader Eccles. You are recognized. There is a committee sub. We will adopt the committee sub if there's no objection. No objection. We will adopt the committee sub. Representative Floor Leader Eccles, apologies. You're recognized to explain your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 2665 passed off the House floor last year and was killed from COVID, creates a new manufacturing license. It is requested by IRAP. Move adoption. Yield for questions.
Members, are there any questions on the bill? Seeing no questions, we have a motion to pass and a second. Will there be any discussion or debate? Without discussion or debate, staff, please open the queue for vote. Representative Fetgetter votes aye. Representative Eccles votes aye. Representative Roberts votes aye. If you wish to change your vote, please do so now. Please declare the vote.
10 ayes, 0 nay.
Floor Leader Eccles, with 10 ayes, 0 nay, would declare your bill to have passed out of committee.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, members of the committee.
Representative Eccles, you're recognized to present House Bill 2674.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will be striking title when this bill comes to the floor. This bill moves OMMA to ABLE. I have meetings with the governor's office trying to work this out with the Senate. The goal is to have more effective, I think the issue in the medical marijuana industry is not that we need more regulation. I think we need to enforce the regulation that we have. Move adoption. Yield for questions.
Members, are there questions on the bill? Representative Bennett, you're recognized for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sorry, Representative Eccles, for asking. This is kind of weird because you're right across the table. But why? I know that there are plenty of people that would like to see OMMA just be its own standalone agency. Why can't we do that? Does this make the enforcement easier, or is there other logic behind not making it its own?
I'm glad you asked that question. So I am one of the people that thinks OMMA should be its own standalone agency. We've passed bills off this House floor, 2 so far, that I've offered that you've supported, which I appreciate, making OMMA its own standalone agency. I think the states that do medical marijuana really well, or MedRec, any kind of marijuana, OMMA, their version is its own standalone agency. However, I've beat my head against that wall enough, and I'm wanting to engage in the art of the possible. So I think moving it under ABLE is the next best thing, where it would not be, I've got pushback in creating a new agency. So instead of OMMA being a really small piece in a massive cog, we're going to make OMMA the largest piece in the cog. If I say that very, assuming this bill gets all the way through.
Representative Hilbert, you recognized for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I agree completely, 100%. I mean, I get so many calls from constituents, as I'm sure we all do, with complaints, and it's not that we need new regulations, we just need to enforce the ones we have. And I guess this kind of goes beyond your bill, but what do we need to do to, and I don't even know the number, to say hire 80 field agents and pay them well and empower them to go and enforce the laws that we have?
If it were me, I'd hire about 150 out there to regulate the 10,000 licensees. And I don't think the answer is more regulation. The frustrating part I get from individuals who call me who are doing everything right is when we're not enforcing that regulation, so it creates an unequal playing field. I don't think overly burdensome. We have a lot of bills that are going to be filed. We have several that have been filed this year that are creating new laws, new rules. Well, you should either enforce the rules that you have or you should get rid of them. I think those are the two options. As we continue to have more rules without more enforcement, it just doesn't make sense. And one of the things that was interesting to me is while there is a lot of pushback, there is pushback to ABLE. When you talk to IRAP, when you talk to the Restaurant Association, the people that are being regulated by ABLE, there's not a lot of pushback from them. That for the most part, now no regulatory bodies is liked by everyone, but for the most part they're considered fair. So I think this bill will not create one new regulation on medical marijuana businesses. What it would do is start enforcing the regulations that we've already put on to create a level playing field.
Representative Fettgetter, you recognized for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Leader Eccles, would you believe that I think the representative from Depew has a fantastic idea? And in fact, I do want to note for the record that OMMA has worked very hard, and they work very hard every day, but they've been handed and dealt a system that is not working for them. And so while they take shots from us, I am sympathetic to the fact that we as a body have not given them the power and the authority to do some of the regulation that needs to be done. But you and I both have a bill that is pending that, quite frankly, based on what I'm hearing, is going to be a struggle to get passed. But those bills both actually give the actual enforcement authority. Right now, they only have administrative authority. Would you agree that that is the case with OMMA?
I absolutely would agree, and I'm glad you said that, Representative Fettgetter. That I hope nothing we say is intended to be an attack or cast aspersions on OMMA. I think the people there are doing a great job. If I were going to attack and cast aspersions on the medical marijuana industry right now, it would not be at OMMA. Frankly, it would be at the structural system. We have not done enough to give them what they need to have those enforcement mechanisms, and I agree with Representative Fettgetter.
Seeing no other questions, we have a motion and a second. Will there be discussion or debate? No discussion or debate. Staff, please open the queue for a vote. Representative Fettgetter votes aye. Representative Eckel votes aye. Representative Roberts votes aye. Please declare the vote.
10 ayes, 0 nays.
With 10 ayes, 0 nay, Representative, your bill has passed committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, members of the committee.
All right, Representative Eccles, you're recognized to present House Bill 2684.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 2684 is another bill that...
Hang on just a second. There is a PCS. Without objection, we'll adopt the PCS. Representative Eccles, you're recognized to explain the PCS.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 2684 is another bill that passed out of the House last year, just was killed with everything with COVID. It clarifies who is responsible for collecting and remitting excise taxes on wine and spirits. Move adoption. Yield for questions.
Are there any questions? Seeing no questions, we have a motion and a second. Is there any debate? Seeing no debate, staff, please open the queue for a vote. Representative Eccles votes aye. Representative Roberts votes aye. Representative Fettgetter votes aye. Representative Hilbert, would you like to vote? Representative Hilbert votes aye. If you would wish to change your vote, please do so now. Please declare the vote.
10 ayes, 0 nay.
Representative Eccles with 10 ayes, 0 no. We declare your bill to have passed committee. All right, I guess you're up. It's actually my bill.
All right, Mr. Chairman, you are recognized to present House Bill 2380. There is a PCS on this bill. Without any objections, we will adopt that as a working draft. Do we have any questions? Or I guess you're recognized to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members, the House Bill 2380 is a bill that basically clarifies, it allows a self-pour device to be used in a retail setting for alcohol. So if you have any questions, I yield for questions, move to adopt.
Members, are there any questions on the bill? Seeing no questions, I have a do pass and a second. Clerk, would you open the queue for voting?
That Gator votes aye.
Record the vote.
8 ayes, 0 nay.
Chairman, your bill has passed with 8 ayes, 0 nay. I declare your bill to have passed.
Thank you, members.
Mr. Chairman, you are recognized to present your House Bill 2676.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members, 2676 is a modernization of electronic controlled prescriptions Act. It was voted unanimously off the floor last session and died for COVID. I yield for questions and move to adopt.
Members, are there any questions? Representative Hilbert, you are recognized for a question.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was just curious. I know this is something the Attorney General has worked. The Attorney General worked on a lot. This language when we first instituted it 3-4 years ago. Did you work with his office on this? Are they good with the language?
The AG's office, the OBNDD, and all stakeholders are absolutely on board. They love the bill.
You guys.
Members, is there any other questions on the bill? Having a do pass and a second. Is there any further discussion or debate? Staff, please open the queue for vote.
Representative Gator votes aye.
Declare the vote.
8 ayes, 0 nay.
Mr. Chairman, with 8 ayes, 0 nay, I declare your bill to have passed. I'll turn
Thank you,
this
Mr.
back
Chairman.
over to the chairman.
All right, thank you, everybody. We will meet one more time for House bills next Thursday, 10:30. Have a great weekend. Drive home safely. We are adjourned.